I like neighborhoods that have good walkability, proximity to restaurants and commerce, but I don't like the chaos. So my favorite neighborhoods in Miami are Fort Lauderdale, Miami. They're only 40 minutes away from each other, but yet they feel like two very different worlds, but only to those who live in South Florida. I lived a few years in both and I will tell you the real deal. Yes, Miami is more fast-paced and diverse, while Fort Lauderdale is laid back. But you already know that, and I didn't mean to rhyme, but really, what's the difference? Which one is better? Stick around. Hello again my friends, and those who are new, welcome to this channel about living in South Florida. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this. It's really a motivation for me to make more when you do that. Jesus Valbuena my name. I'm a realtor in South Florida, and every single day I help people like you on their questions about moving and investing in South Florida, and I really love it. So please don't be shy to reach out to me as soon as the video ends. I pick up the phone myself, I answer the emails myself, so I can't wait to meet you. Okay, so we're going to start with the location. As I said earlier, they're only 40 minutes away from each other, with Fort Lauderdale being the one on the north. They both have a pretty good location. The only advantage I would say is that Fort Lauderdale is 40 minutes closer to the rest of the country, while south of Miami you only have the Florida Keys. For the sake of this video, keep in mind whenever I say Miami, I mean the Miami-Dade County. Whenever I say Fort Lauderdale, I mean the Great Fort Lauderdale area, which is Broward County. Now let's go to the real estate prices and the cost of living. Both cities are expensive, we all know this, but Miami is the one that often ranks higher when it comes to the cost of living, and housing is the one to blame for this, of course, always housing. The median sales price in the city of Miami is $550,000, while in Fort Lauderdale is $520,000. Miami was even ranked the second most expensive city to rent in the US, and Fort Lauderdale, yes, it is expensive, but it's only the 7th most expensive city in Florida. I personally noticed that gas is a little bit cheaper in Fort Lauderdale, while groceries are about the same. However, I really should say that some Hispanic marketplaces in Miami, they have pretty good deals, but in summary, Miami is more expensive. Number 3, demographics. This can be a deal breaker for a lot of people because culture shock can be a thing. 72% of the population in Miami identifies itself as Hispanic or Latino, such as myself, and let me be honest with you, my friend, it's like another country down here, especially if you're in places like Hialeah, where 95% of the population speak Spanish, and to be honest, I don't know where that other 5% is. Seems like a lot to me. But anyways, you will see a lot of Hispanic influence throughout the city. There is Cuban coffee on every corner, and a lot of the businesses, they have their signs only in Spanish. So depending on where you go, if you're not Hispanic, you may feel a little bit out of place. But don't worry, my friends, because people will really make sure you feel welcome. And I can't forget about the Haitians and the Caribbean culture, because Creole is actually the 3rd most spoken language here in Miami, behind Spanish and English. So naturally, you will also find a couple of good Haitian restaurants and also Caribbean restaurants in the area. In Fort Lauderdale, there are a lot of Hispanic people as well, but not as many as in Miami. It's about 25 to 30% Latino in Broward and Fort Lauderdale, and you can tell the difference by just being there, because it's much more chill, more relaxed. We Latinos can be very loud and hyper sometimes, to be honest, and it can be overwhelming. It can be even to me overwhelming. When it comes to the age, the median age in Fort Lauderdale is a little bit older, and maybe that's why there are much more 55 and older communities than in Miami. Another important piece of data that I have to give you is that the median household income in Fort Lauderdale, not the average, the median household income in Fort Lauderdale is $66,000, while in Miami is $47,000. I already told you that the cost of living in Miami is higher, so I think this is very important when it comes for you to make a decision on where to live in South Florida. Another important factor is the lifestyle. As you may have heard, Miami has more of a metro vibe than Fort Lauderdale. And look, if you ask anybody honestly who lives out of Florida about Miami, they will answer something related to party and having a good time. The nightlife in Miami is very active and diverse. You have all types of clubs throughout the city where you can go out all night and have fun if you want. This is a city internationally known for that. It is what it is, and that's why people come here. So naturally, this will make life a little bit more hectic and fast. The advantage is that you can go out and have a late dinner in a restaurant, and you may have more cool attractions and events near you. The Formula One is now in Miami. Messi is now a part of the MLS. You have the Ultra Music Festival, etc., etc. There is also more walkability and chances of meeting new people. My friends, if these are the things you're looking for, then Miami is for you. Fort Lauderdale has more of an upscale cosmopolitan vibe and is known for, as I told you, being less stressful, to put it that way, and also for boating and fishing events. There is a big international boat exposition that takes place every year and people come from everywhere to here to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale also offers everything that Miami has, but at a smaller scale and variety. The nightlife in Fort Lauderdale pretty much happens at the downtown and at Las Olas Boulevard. I myself see Fort Lauderdale more family friendly, and Miami is more single friendly or more friendly to young couples, although you have a bit of everything in both cities. Now let's talk about traffic and walkability. Both cities have pretty bad traffic, to be honest, and it's getting worse, let me tell you, but the traffic in Miami is absolutely worse than the one in Fort Lauderdale. A lot of people who live in Fort Lauderdale, they work in Miami, so in the morning, the southbound on I-95 is pretty congested, and in the afternoon, the same happens on the northbound when they are going back home. The commute in Fort Lauderdale is longer because everything is more spread out, so the distances are longer, while in Miami everything is closer but more congested. If we talk about walkability, Miami is better to me, and I really appreciate this because I don't like having to get in the car for everything. I like to have a walk once in a while, to go to the store, to do whatever, and that's why I live in Behavioral Islands, which is a very walkable area. In Fort Lauderdale, walkability is reduced once again to downtown and Las Olas Boulevard, with a few other minor exceptions around the Broward area. Okay, but who has the best beaches? I know that Miami Beach is internationally known and a lot of people go there, and I like it too. But to be honest, I prefer the Fort Lauderdale beaches, mainly because the water tends to be clearer and is much less crowded than in Miami, and the type of people in Miami are ready to party always, to put it that way, and I like the beach a little bit more calm and relaxed. My favorite beaches in Miami are Sunny Isles, Surfside, Key Biscayne, and then Miami Beach, while my favorite beaches in Fort Lauderdale are Hollywood, Dania Beach, the Fort Lauderdale Beach, and I also like Pompano, by the way. All these to me are quite frankly better options, although the one that I frequent the most is Surfside because it's the one that is closer to me. But again, I prefer the beaches in Fort Lauderdale. For schools, you have two websites you can use for reference for public schools. You have niche.com and greatschools.org. I've seen and heard that the Fort Lauderdale area has better public school districts, such as Weston and Parkland being among the top rated, while in Miami you also have good schools such as the Behavioral Islands Elementary and Middle Schools. I have family members going there, by the way, and I have no complaints. You also have the Sunny Isles and Coral Gables districts are among the top rated in Miami. But check these websites for you so you can research for yourself. So I give you my top 5 neighborhoods from each city, and this is entirely based on my personal preference. I like neighborhoods that have good walkability, proximity to restaurants and commerce, but I don't like the chaos, and although I don't have any kids yet, I really value a family-friendly environment. So my favorite neighborhoods in Miami are the Bal Harbour Surfside area, Sunny Isles, Miami Shores, Coral Gables and Coconut Grove area, and Key Biscayne. Real estate prices are on the higher end here, so I want to add Doral as an honorable mention. It is a fast and growing city, much more affordable than the other cities I mentioned. Now, when it comes to Fort Lauderdale, my top 5 would be Weston, Victoria Park, Harbor Beach, which is a small neighborhood nobody knows about, Las Olas, and Lighthouse Point, which is in Pompano Beach. I want to add as an honorable mention Hollywood, which is perhaps the best city to make an investment right now in South Florida, and I actually have a video talking about this in depth. You can see the link right here. I can tell you that most of my clients that have a family, eventually they want to leave Miami for something more fit for them, like Fort Lauderdale, and young couples and single clients, they want to be closer to the action. I personally find a lot of advantages in both. I have lived in South Florida for a while and know the area very well, so my sweet spot actually is being just south of Fort Lauderdale and north of Miami, so this way I really get the best of both worlds. I hope you find this video useful. You can now give me a call. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this, and see you on the next one. Hasta la vista.